Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SPASRO. Subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Today we are going to see about secret of well-being for each zodiac sign. Aries. Underneath that cool outside, you will here and there find that Aries individuals are a pack of nerves. You are consistently in a hurry and are intensely arranging your next move. You like to be in control and are hesitant to take breaks, which will wear you out in time. A rushed way of life implies that you are helpless to stretch, especially in the head, cerebrum and facial region. Potential medical issues for Aries incorporate eye fatigue, a sleeping disorder and incessant headaches. This is connected to the way that Aries regularly stifle their sentiments. You need to figure out how to release pressure from time to time in the event that you are to keep up great physical and mental health. Headaches ought to be dealt with normally as opposed to with medication. Try getting some natural air, or then again, drinking homegrown mixtures of lime blossom or valerian can be effective. Romanis have customarily suggested juniper berries for some Aries difficulties. An implantation of juniper berries, bubbling water and nectar can be utilized to treat apprehensive strain, and a weakening of juniper oil rubbed into the sanctuaries can diminish headaches. A run-of-the-mill Aries is frequently too engrossed to even think about making sure to eat consistently. In any case, a decent breakfast and lunch followed by a light supper can help energy levels. Aries are inclined to insufficiency of potassium phosphate, which can add to apprehensive problems. They should load up on tomatoes, lemons, celery and grapefruit and fight the temptation to choose quick nourishments rather than a better alternative. Aries ought to be cautioned that extreme drinking is not feasible. They basically can't deal with it. Taurus. A Taurus is never however glad as when they seem to be during supper. Lavish food is your first love and you have a solid propensity to overindulge. Subsequently, numerous Taurus experience the ill effects of corrosive heartburn and weight problems. Moderation ought to be the catchphrase. You should figure out how to eat nearly nothing, and frequently, and above all, to tune into your stomach. When it says that it's full, it implies that it's full. Regular Taurus are inadequate in sodium sulfate, which can prompt joint firmness, stiffness, and arthritis. They should guide away from fat-loaded nourishments and select more natural products, for example, strawberries and pomegranates, to battle this deficiency. Apples are a marvel organic product for Taurus, assisting with warding off ailment, gout and even bladder problems. Fortunately for an earth sign like Taurus, some fat is required in the eating routine, so ought not be removed out and out. You Taurus types are additionally inclined to sore throats and don't adapt well to smoky environment in bars and clubs. Unfortunately for Taurus, items, for example, chocolate and cream, intensify the issue of throat diseases, in that they are bodily fluid creating foods. Romanis have customarily suggested that Taurus drink an imbuement of black currants, blackcurrant leaves and bubbling water to calm a sore throat. Be cautioned that with regards to liquor, a Taurus will drink you under the table without fail. However, they don't generally have a clue when to stop. Gemini. Geminis are eminent for having rushed and energizing ways of life, and you regularly appear to flourish with pressure and like shuffling numerous things at a time. A functioning way of life, for example, this can drain energy levels definitely, so caffeinated drinks are ideal for Geminis. Try drinking the juice of a parsnip and a large portion of a cucumber and carrot prior to setting out on a bustling day to help your energy levels. Geminis, you should likewise figure out how to tune into your body when it discloses to you it needs a rest. Don't exaggerate the action. Because of a lack in potassium chloride, Geminis are inclined to swollen organs, asthma and hypersensitive reactions. Herbs like comfrey, tansy and even sweet licorice are plentiful in this mineral. Unlike Taurus, Gemini individuals ought to chug more bodily fluid creating food sources, for example, milk. However, be careful with greasy food sources. Geminis tend to gain weight in strange regions like the lower legs, making the body watch messed up. Like Aries, Geminis likewise experience the ill effects of anxious strain, and juniper berries or juniper oil are the ideal solution for this. Yoga is the ideal method of loosening up following an unpleasant day at work. Finding another speed of life and easing back down when the body says so is the most ideal path for a Gemini to keep up undeniable degrees of wellness and well-being. Cancers. Cancers are crotchety animals. They can be grouchy and enthusiastic, and this is frequently reflected in the condition of their well-being. For instance, when feeling focused, they likely could be influenced in the stomach zone. They have so much going on in their minds, continually pondering the past, present, and future all the while, that they neglect to eat. At the point when they at long last make sure to do so, Cancers are at risk to stuff themselves senseless and indulge, causing heartburn. This can be effortless helped by utilizing peppermint oil or by purifying the liver with an implantation of new and dried sage with bubbling water. An absence of calcium fluoride implies that cancers suffer from nerve and muscle issues. They can avert these issues by loading up on a lot of milk, watercress and sleek fish like sardines. Cancers should avoid those sushi bars. Crude food sources can cause them a wide range of stomach issues, so they should ensure all food is altogether cooked prior to eating. Due to unpredictable eating patterns, Cancers are inclined to headaches. Eating at normal occasions, which will forestall glucose levels from dropping, can forestall this, and consolidating more ginger into your eating routine additionally works a treat. With respect to liquor, water signs are by and large not extraordinary consumers. They feel alcoholic immediately, regardless of whether they have not devoured a lot. It very well might be dull, yet control is the watchword. Leo. Leos love to party any time or day and make every moment count. They frequently experience boundaries. When cheerful they are happy, and when they are low, they feel low for sure. This can clearly negatively affect their well-being. When working or mingling hard, Leos are obligated to experience the ill effects of overexertion and back torment. The hypothesis is that back torment comes from the way that they ought to stroll down on the ground, similar to the lions they genuinely are. Back rubs can assist with back torment, and they ought to have a decent solid bed for their stance. Leos likewise experience the ill effects of feeble course and should be persuaded into taking activity. Strolling is the best technique, and drinking a tea produced using valerian roots can animate dissemination. Observe. Leos feel loaded with imperativeness and energy when it is radiant. Their decision planet is the sun, yet torpid when it is coming down and hopeless. The lion loves excellent and rich foods, so should be careful with overindulgence. They are inclined to a lack of magnesium phosphate, which is required for solid lungs, muscles and nerves, also the cerebrum. This mineral can be found in plums, wheat and even cocoa. Leos are additionally fortunate animals. They infrequently have liquor issues and have dominated the stunt of seeming calm, regardless of the amount they have had. Truth be told, they are bound to get snared on caffeine and liquor, as Leos will in general be very inclined toward Coca-Cola and espresso. Virgo. Virgos are conceived worriers and self-tormentors. Glance in their astro bureau, and it is destined to be loaded with drugs, mixtures, and creams. Obviously, they pay attention to their well-being very, and are a mine of data about medical problems. Virgo leads the digestive organs, and it is regularly work that influences their well-being, causing stomach and inside issues. This is on the grounds that they stress and get focused on a ton, and regardless of whether they don't work, there is in every case some dramatization in their own life causing them nervousness. Having said that, Virgos are generally exceptionally sound. However, they need to keep the stomach related and sensory system in great request. Squeezing an apple for certain strawberries, blackberries, raspberries and some lemon can make an incredible pressure buster for Virgos. Taken consistently, this will calm the most frayed of nerves. Virgos are bound to be veggie lovers than some other sign in the zodiac, and they are fastidious about what they eat. They ordinarily need potassium sulfate, which causes colds and hacks. Truth be told, Virgos contract bugs more effectively than different signs. They need to eat more tomatoes, lemons, apples and grapefruits to avoid these diseases. Likewise, they need to get all the more natural air, and for an earth sign, strolling or running are ideal activities. Well-being cognizant Virgos find that liquor gives them kidney issues and are undeniably more reasonable than most of us. They typically substitute beverages with water when they go out and endure undeniably less the following day. Libra. An unhappy Libra is one without equilibrium and congruity in their lives. They need to work, rest and play in the event that they are to work well. Libras are extraordinary socializers and are frequently the last to leave a gathering. They love wonderful and rich food sources and have an insidiously sweet tooth. Libra administers the kidneys, skin, and lumbar districts. In particular, Libra should deal with their kidneys by backing off of the liquor at those late night parties they love to visit. They handle brew better compared to spirits, however ought to be careful with the impact this can have on their waistline. Poor Libras get more awful headaches than different signs. However, the morning after the prior night, they like to imagine they feel fine and should take a stab at squeezing a lot of grapes with a nectarine subsequent to indulging. They ought to likewise start drinking a lot of water for the duration of the day to flush out any poisons from their framework. An inadequacy of phosphate of pop means Libra should eat more spinach, lettuce, apples, and strawberries to keep up the equilibrium of liquids in the body. They appear to flourish with vegetables developed over the ground, similar to mushrooms and bamboo shoots, which make for delectable sautés. Outside air and exercise are essential for this air sign. They should join a rec center so they can exercise and associate however much they might want. Scorpio. Food, sex, and cash are what the Scorpio adores best throughout everyday life. They are brimming with energy and don't do anything by equal parts. Like Pisces, they are the radicals of the zodiac. For instance, Scorpios who do smoke and drink will normally do as such to abundance. Their addictive character can cause bunches of issues. Dietary issues are normal among Scorpios and typically surface during the young years, when they choose they either love or disdain food. Scorpio governs the regenerative organs in the belly, which means individuals brought into the world under this sign are dependent upon feminine torments, urinary diseases and water maintenance. To battle water maintenance, Scorpio should eat food sources wealthy in potassium like potatoes, bananas, and fish. Scorpios need calcium sulfate, which is expected to keep the lungs sound and ulcers under control. Numerous nourishments are brimming with calcium sulfate, including cabbage, kale, milk and onions. Scorpios don't flourish with pressure, indeed it influences them seriously as they are an over-emotional sign. At every possible opportunity, they should attempt to evade upsetting circumstances, and when they do feel on edge, should attempt unwinding methods. A shower with fragrance-based treatment oils is extraordinary for both body and soul, and will set you up for a decent night's rest. Scorpios are prestigious for being erratic consumers. A drop of liquor can leave them legless one evening, while in the wake of drinking a jug of whiskey the following, they are as yet calm as an appointed authority. Be cautioned, Scorpios experience the ill effects of the most savage of headaches. Sagittarius. Desire for forever and idealism characterize Sagittarius. They are amazingly adaptable and move rapidly, starting with one thought then on to the next, continually expecting to develop and extend. Adventurous Sagittarius relish a test, love practice, and now and again, the helpless body endures. They are continually progressing and regularly don't heat up prior to doing difficult games, which means the body is inclined to hyperextends, thigh cracks, and even hip separation. Swimming is the ideal exercise for aiding pulled muscles and tendons get once again into shape. With regards to colds, Sagittarius have an especially powerless obstruction and just need to spend a brief time in smoky, swarmed rooms prior to getting a terrible bug. All the more outside air is the best deterrent measure, and they should not neglect to do as their mum says and wrap up warm come winter time. They could likewise attempt to fuse more onions, grain, and cherries into their eating regimen. Since they generally have some place to proceed to individuals to see, Sagittarius are fretful cooks. They regularly eat on the run, and this quite often implies they eat an excessive amount of inexpensive food. It is vital that they invest significant time to guarantee that they have a decent eating regimen. All things considered, they will experience the ill effects of a silica inadequacy, which will show itself in their appearance, weak nails, helpless state of skin and hair. Loading up on parsnips, asparagus, and the modest cucumber will give well-being and appearance the lift it needs. Capricorn. With Saturn as their decision planet, Capricorns are self-controlled and self-trained, and this is reflected in their well-being. They are cautious eaters and know a ton about food, will infrequently indulge, and can quit eating when they need to. This is part of the way, since they are so pleased with their bodies and will be the first to see when they have gained some weight. Capricorns need to watch their calcium levels as their joints and bones are especially frail. Work area occupations add to the issue of solid joints. Capricorns need to continue to move. This doesn't intend to say they should go out and get a fitness coach to get them ready. Delicate exercise like strolling or swimming is the most ideal approach to keep up wellness without putting an excessive amount of strain on the joints. Knees are especially feeble and can be reinforced by adding more parsley into your food. Sprinkle it over meat and vegetables for a brisk and simple nutrient lift. Like Sagittarius, Capricorns are helpless against chills. They also should wrap up warm and get all the more natural air. Their lungs are for the most part not as solid as those of individuals brought into the world under different signs. However, a tea made of a large portion of a teaspoon of lungwood, a large portion of a teaspoon of ribwood, accessible from a decent botanist, and bubbling water can do some amazing things for the respiratory framework. Aquarius. Aquarius oversees the flow in the lower legs, implying that individuals brought into the world under this sign are inclined to lower leg sprain and other leg problems. Aquarius often feel cold in any event when the climate is warm, a result of their helpless dissemination and the way that they love wearing meager attire, even in the main part of winter. A tea produced using angelica leaves won't just animate dissemination, yet in addition barrage a smelling cold. Activities like swimming and water vigorous exercise are best for developing leg muscles and improving the flow. Agreeable, as opposed to unrealistic shoes, are an absolute necessity in the event that they need to oust those excruciating lower leg strains. Like all air signs, Aquarius should have a light and supporting eating regimen. Substantial nourishments like a heated potato weighed down with cheddar can leave them feeling swelled and torpid. Subbing the cheddar for, say, soured cream for certain chives can make all the difference. Aquarius are delicate animals and can experience the ill effects of times of anxious pressure, which will influence the assimilation. Ladies are additionally inclined to extreme period torments. For this situation, they should drink bunches of water and stay away from liquor. Despite the fact that they are social animals, Aquarius should not penance their rest. They need to set aside a few minutes for unwinding and spoiling themselves. Valerian tea before sleep time is desirable over a hardened nightcap in the event that they need a profound, fulfilling rest. Pisces. Pisces believe in languishing over their magnificence, and unusually, it is typically the feet that endure. Their most normal negative behavior pattern is purchasing shoes that look fabulous, however are amazingly awful for their feet. They should keep an eye out for swollen lower legs and water maintenance. Ordinary visits to the chiropodist are suggested, as is putting resources into a foot spa. In the event that you can locate a willing member, a foot rub with fundamental oils will liven up the most drained and swollen of feet. By and large speaking, Pisces create their very own significant number illnesses by carrying on with life to the outrageous, and they love extreme encounters if they are beneficial for them. Control isn't in your vocabulary. Pisces are awful calorie counters. They are inclined to eating and have shifted eating designs which bring about stomach related issues. They additionally will in general go to food to make their issues disappear rather than when they are really hungry. Pisces are ailing in phosphate of iron, which is required for red blood and great dissemination. This can be found in most verdant green vegetables, raisins, dates, figs, and nuts. With regards to alcohol, Pisces are incredibly powerless. They are not truly adept at deciding when they have had enough, and the individuals who indulge experience the ill effects of liver infirmities. Restriction ought to be the watchword for Pisces everywhere.